Hey guys, it's the Nerd here, and I am here to review Project Power, which at the time of recording this is the number one trending movie on Netflix. Let's just say the first surprising thing, it will probably surprise you too. Alright, guys, we're going to jump right into this movie review, but before we do, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this video. The first surprising thing about this movie is Machine Gun Kelly. like, there's not gonna be any spoilers in this review, first of all, but Machine Gun Kelly is like the first thing that I see in this movie, and it throws me for a loop from the get go. I'm like, wait a minute, is that MGK? And it was, and I was like, okay, it threw me for a loop. I'm not gonna lie, but let's get to the movie itself. So the movie is about these power pills. Basically, they're like the new drug. We don't know where they're coming from or whatever, but they're being distributed in New Orleans. And these power pills, they give you powers for 5 minutes. Of course, everybody's power is different. You take these pills, you don't know what you're gonna get or what powers you're gonna get. Some people are bulletproof, some people are super fast, or yada yada. Insert random power here. But and there's also a possibility when you take these pills that you just die immediately, or it kills you, or your power manifests in a way that kills you. You get Robin, played by Dominique Fishback. I've never actually seen her or anything else. I have to look more into it. You have Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and you have Jamie Foxx as Frank and Art, respectively. But basically, Frank's a cop. Robin is a young teen. Her mother is an illness, diabetes. She can't afford the money and stuff, so she starts selling these pills. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the police officer, your typical friendly, hey, we're buddies police officer who has kind of a little secret, and you'll watch it in the movie. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a pretty good storyline for his character, I believe. And then you have Jamie Foxx's character Art. Art is looking for his daughter, and she was taken from him, and there's some sort of connection. He has a picture of a guy and something about tracking down these pills and where they're coming from will help him find his daughter. And Machine Gun Kelly is kind of the linchpin of all these characters. Actually, his character Newt is the known dealer or whatever. This is like the first thing you see coming out, and then so they go down these storylines of Frank being the good cop, but with a little secret. Then you have Art, who's looking for his daughter and is kind of the very general Jamie Foxx badass character. Honestly, he's just gonna do what it takes. Hey, I'm Jamie Foxx, I'm good looking, I'm coming here, I'll do what I want, hey, bam, and I'm gonna drop some fatherly advice to this Robin character, and Robin's just trying to do the best she can. She's just that very classical, headstrong, maybe not best in school, but she's got this she has this ability in her to always shine and look forward to the future, and she's going to make it no matter what. Kind of, the general teenage hustler. Bad times making her do the best that she can no matter what, and she's big enough to do that. There's an underlying arc in this movie about classism and racism and how it affects everyone's life differently. And I think they do a really good job on this. They don't beat you over the head with it. Kind of like, the infamous scene we all know in like Avengers when they're trying to put the females first, where they all get together and say, hey, we're females, female power, and it kind of like deteriorates and it's like makes no sense in the movie, and everyone's like, why did you even put that in the movie? Well, at least in this movie and in Project Power, they're like, hey, this is an issue, and this is how it would actually affect this storyline. Like, hey, it actually makes sense. They don't it doesn't take away from the movie. It is just part of the movie, part of the canvas, part of the real world they're still trying to get you into it. So I give them, on just that alone, being able to bring up a subject as like racism and how unfair classism and everything is, I give them A plus. And first of all, bringing that into a movie and having good points and good sound bites, but not pulling away from the movie so much, but still bringing light to a subject that's one, on everybody's mind right now, and two, that's very hard to in the first place. And honestly, having Jamie Foxx do it really helps too, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt also really helps. They're just really good characters, and I think a lot of people really respect them as actors as well. So it's really nice to see them. And Dominique Fishback, did a great job. I don't like I said I don't know anything about this actress, but she was great in this role. I really loved it. But that's the good things about the movie. Bad things about the movie was that there's like they had such good storylines. Like you get into it, like the first 30, 40 minutes, you're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. You have all these great storylines, like I said, with Frank and Art and Robin and Newt, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be really awesome. But then they just kind of fall apart. This movie, one, you don't get to see much of the superpowers coming from the pills. I really thought there is gonna be like a central point of, hey, these people are getting superpowers, this is what they do, the here's superpower versus superpower. But it's kind of like a side thing. It's like it plays a big pivotal point at some points in the movie, but it's not as interesting as I thought it was going to be. I really was looking forward to like superpowers, of like realistic human like superpowers, which they do get right in parts of this movie, but they just don't use it enough, in my opinion. They have this huge plot device, and they don't use it enough. And then you have these great storylines of Art and Frank, and they feel like they're kind of like battling. They're trying to do a really great movie where they have all these different threads of like all different walks of life, and they all come together, and they weave very well. You've seen movies like this movie fails at it. I really think they would have been better at dropping one of the story arcs, either with Frank or Art. They would have focused on one and told that story more in detail, and just more. That's what the movie. I came away from the movie just wanting more. I want to know more about this. I want to see more of this, or I want more of this, and they just don't give it to me. It's like just a little taste. It's almost like a drug. They just give you a little taste, like, oh, it could be so much, it's so good, and it just doesn't. But like I said, overall, it's definitely a movie to watch. I think a lot of people will enjoy it. I think it's a good movie. I give it a see. I want to do it out of 100, and so the way I give it 65 out of 100. I'm probably never gonna watch this movie again, but I'm happy that I watched it first. I think the ideas were great. I think the premise was great. The acting was great. The writing, yeah, the writing just wasn't the best, and the storytelling wasn't the best. Cinematography was really good. I think they did a really good job with that, honestly. Movies like this, I feel like they're almost banking on the recent surge in superheroes and superpowers. And they're like, okay, well, we have this storyline, but let's come with a great premise of this power pill, which is a great premise. And it's like, okay, but this is the story I really want to tell, and they just kind of place that story on top of a really great premise. And I think that's what they did in this one. Like I said, go watch it. I definitely think it's worth it. This new actress, Dominique Fishback, she does a great job. I think the first half of the movie is wonderful, and you enjoy it. I just believe you'll walk away like me at the end of it being like, hey, I just wish I had more. Like I said, if you agree, let me know in the comments. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you regardless. And that's my first movie review of Project Power. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. And like I said, go watch this movie. But as always, guys, just remember, we are many, we are community, we are nerds. Till next time, keep it nerdy.